quote you, have you achieved what we agreed you'd achieve? Yes. Good. Have you not achieved? Why? Right? Do we have that kind of mechanism? I don't think we do. Again, to me, we must have the courage to fire people that are not working, that are incompetent. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. However, I would just like you to incorporate what KPIs means, depending on youth that are here, so people can understand these terms.
Key performance indicators. Tinene kuti chani muchichewa. Takulemba ntchito ngati manager waba estate pano. Tukuyembekeza kuti muchola ti matani mwakuti. Ndeti chasana kwane matani manager ndekuti you have failed in your key performance indicators. Similarly, zimene quote, you've worked for 24 or 12 months this year, or maybe 10. We expect kuti mwina upanga deliver my judgments okwana mwakuti koma peza kuti upanga deliver less than half of it. What's the problem? Something like that.
Understood. Thank you. This was just for the whole audience to understand, so that when we are explaining. Okay. Sorry. This is good dialogue. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Who starts?
Let us start on, this is my left, which will be your right. So we'll go with Dennis starting first.
But I had wanted to comment on something that Mr. Mahata already said.
Okay. Mr. Mahata, is that okay, so that he can then give his response and then you can come?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So again, just to remind everyone, those that are watching from home, we thank you for being inclusive. Remember, our time is 2 minutes. I will raise the bottle for 1 minute. And then second, mwina anthu organiza kuti ndemu kupanga advertise kwa mbiri tu. Nthawi yonse mungu kweza botolo yo. So just letting you all know that is the procedure. You may continue, Council.
All right. I know that I think when Mr. Mahata was making his comment, he said that I know, those who are in the legal profession or maybe judges will not agree. So my interjection is not necessarily following on that. I think, when he said what he said, if there is need to give a contrary view or, a response, we just have to. So one of the things that he said, okay, I'll go back to Chishewa because I think kanyati mirungu, pamfu, anthu akukhotisa kufunika mphamvu. I find those statements to be a bit dangerous because you see, even the Constitution, imagambaza political and legal authority. Yet now, when you're talking about authority, you can't do anything chopanga affect anthu. Nkwauza kuna kuti kapangeni zizi ngatulibe mphamvu. Imagine court lichaika nakhala kuti ndi court lopanda mphamvu. Court longokhala ngati mina losoka sapato. Loti lingathe kunena kuti drama zokabweze mwezi wa mawa iweyo nkunena kuti alibe mphamvu amene jasindikapanga. There would be no need for the courts, and we would actually have bigger problems than we have now. So I want to differ with him. The way the profession is and the way the judicial system is supposed to be, whether we like it or not, whether we are going to give them names, mirungu kayachani, koma mikanjo kuyenera kuvalidwa. Izoso zungweno khala choncho masherifa kwena kubwera ndi mphamvu zawo apolisi and manja, otherwise would become a lawless state. Mangofuna ndikonse pamenepo.
Understood. Before you answer, could I conclude in a sense that means more towards discipline as well? Yeah. Okay, thank you. You may proceed, sir.
I think council ugwizana nane muna chichewa cha mphamvu inaenda kamboti ikufunika authority ulamuliro sikufunika mphamvu. Lezo nakamba zonsezo ni maproduct a ulamuliro. Chene chimapangisa kuti asherifa kati chakuti kumvere, ajaja kati chakuti kumvere, si mphamvu ndi ulamuliro. It's not power, it's authority. And the example.
Sorry, may we please respect his answer?
You can see so kubanga so agree nani. Fa ajitokamba za abakamba za KPI. Awagamba zora cancelable. You see? So judge a cancelable wonder ngadadi the highest separation of powers. fakira kuti vepajapa atsitse musadandaule sichotsamika njo yanu sikutsama privileges anu maplado ndomwe aja muyendera koma musatenge mphamvu direct kwa president mukhale service imene ili kuchipatala imene kuli kusite kanso nonso mukhale service komano umulungu kukambawo ndi umene utukamba kuti simuli asalabo kwali yese so you will not be accountable so musasokoneze mphamvu ndi authority mphamvu simukuyenera mphamvu ayi mukuyenera authority simagawa ntchito mphamvu za munthu kugawa ntchito I think there's a kind of debate ngofotokoza leadership bwino philosophy imene ndabwanje pati muno anthu amasokoneza kwambiri kuti leadership imapereka chani leadership imapereka mpando ndi zitatu ndi authority ndi power ndi ma resources zonsezo zili ma dimension yake so usangotenga zonse kumunjikira wina wake in the name of separation of powers pali milandu yambirimbiri ya ku court a judge amene ya ku parliament a judge amangoti I advise akuita kuti parliament sinapange bwino kuma for separation of powers mulungu akumeneko nda speaker ndeteni ndi milungu kuti titsike bendithu akhali ma service zikomo kwambiri.
Thank you for that response. Now we proceed to the next topic, which is education. I would just like to commend all of you. You have given us guidance, you have been unpacking, and you're also sharing knowledge. So we are looking at direction, we are navigating, we are finding out more, and as we said, understanding, which is fun. It's constructive conversations, and in this, with guidance, I would suppose that this also falls in education. And my question is here, in your view, is Malawi on track to achieving good quality education? If not, what do you think needs to be fixed in our education systems? And we will start from Council Davis, and we'll work this way as well. Remember, we do have 2 minutes for your responses. At 1 minute, I will raise the bottle again.
In terms of education, I would say that when one looks at where we were in 1994, I think we had very good ambitions because, we introduced initiatives like free primary school, and then I think we had all those goals, that, to make sure that almost, the majority of the population gets an education. But if you then come to 2025, you see that I think we still have a lot of challenges, even the free primary. I think the other day ndinamva ena akakudandaula kuti siya ulele sopanopa chifukwa choti amakhalira kuwuzidwa kuti mawa bukabwere 2000 ya makope 1000 ya chakuti mapeto ake malo moti azipereka fees akuperekabe zinthu zosiyana-siyana kuti ana aja akaphunzire. So we haven't managed, I think, to live up with free primary school education. Two, ana amene wawa kapena even aziphunzitsa amene timapititsa kumeneko mukati muone progression yawo imakhala yosayenda bwinobwino. I think in 1994-95 kunabwera anthu ena ake amene sanaphunzire bwinobwino za uphunzitsi anangopeza kuti akalowa amene kuja asanduka aziphunzitsi akuti akuphunzitsa ana. Panopa kuti muyang'ane ana amene aphunzira free primary school education, quality yake siku makhala yabwino. So ineyo, I would say kuti personally, I don't think we are doing very well. We need to revisit our education, and because unless we do that, then it's a collateral footage. Because also to come back accountability, my youth, the girl child, empowering them. Ngatakuphunzitsidwa ndanthu oti onso akufunika maphunziro ndekuti sizingaende. So in a nutshell, education yathu, to me it's 2 out of 10.
Thank you for your response. Over to you, Abiba.
We have, again, good education policies in the country. I think what is important is also to see how we can innovate in terms of the period that we're living in. I think with emerging digital technologies, we need to start thinking digital as a country. We just heard that, for example, in China, that primary school kids will start learning artificial intelligence. I wish that perhaps Malawi should also start looking at that direction, because any country that is going to be left behind in terms of not advancing in digital technologies we will not get pathway to progress. So when I'm thinking about the pathway to progress as a country, we need to think about the emerging digital technologies. And I think this is where we need to also really revisit our curriculum. Secondly, and which is the final point on this one, when we talked about accountability, I have noted one of the things that I think the Ministry of Education and others are doing is to start unlearning the issues of corruption. Now we are seeing, for example, curriculums where issues of corruption are being put in the curriculum. I think that is a conversation that needs to be amplified, but also that's a way we can also innovate in terms of creating a new breed of young people, but as well as unlearning maybe the issues that we've been discussing today. So we can really play around with education and make sure that we are progressing in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you for your response.
Nzoma kwambiri mungonjezaso nimene ankhuliraso anzanga. I think emphasis education kufunikira kwakedi ndikotero ndithu. Tikuyenera tione gawo loyamba early child education. Mwana ayindiporesha ophunzira zinthu zambiri kuziphunziraso bwino. Andikuno kuti kuluza human capital yathu kuti ikhale ya skillful pa sinkhu umene adakali wang'ono. So tena kupange intensify ma education ija pa level imene ija yali makanda. So they should be exposed ku zinthu zabwino, ku kadaulo wabwino ali ang'ono. And after that pakono kama mechanisms asipesatu amapangidwa train. Apangidwe train kuti azitha kupanga identify potential ya mwana adakali wang'ono ndikumpanga so channel to the right education. Atoka ndi basic education umakhaisa kuti pali program kayo linamujairira kale kuti imuyendetsa kwakuti. You understand, eh? So kwezi ziteke the training yayikulu. Chomaliza kali yomwe ija yachuma education yathu itakukonzeka ngati chuma athu tichikonze. Fakuna kuti quality education is very expensive. Personnel kuti muipange build ma facilities ikuti atulutse scientist, atulutse surgeon. That is not cheap, eh? So we need also kukonza zachuma kuti education yathu ikhaise yakolite mungonjezera ndi zimene akambakala zanga zikoma.
Mzaka za ma 90s, to be specific 1996, a UNESCO anatulutsa report dzina lake mwayiwerenga maiti learning the treasure within. In this report muli mapillars 4 a education amene iwo amafotokoza kuti education ndi imeneyo. Pillar number 1 amanena kuti you must learn to know. After you have known, you must also learn to do. Ifeyo we are very good at producing second class robots anthu amene amaloweza zinthu kumasanga zipange. Now pillar number 3, after you have learned, you have known, you have learned, you can do. Now you must also learn to be what you learned. Pillar number 4, which is the final pillar, you must also learn to live together. If you timakanda anthu ambiri mbiri ophunzira amene samata kukhala ndi anthu ena chifukwa cha maphunziro zimene zinu mwaziona apo. Anthu akuti ndi ma degree koma satha kukhala ndi anthu chifukwa cha degree ija mwina atha kukhala ndi anthu a degree oka. You must learn all these pillars. Now chinthu chomalizira quality of education imene akukamba nzanga Mahata. Lero lonzomvetsa chisoni kumanena kuti kuli unima imene ophunzira kumene koko kalekalero atayitsegula anthu ankagonera pomwepo amaphikiridwa amadya masoseji amakoloperedwa zofunda zawo zimachapidwa ndi anthu ena. Anthu awo apitako ndi kuti kutchankoko ananjoya zimene zonso. Lero lo mukunduza kuti mu 2025 anthu aku unima amagona kwa chikanda, amagona pansi. Munthu wa ku University of Malawi, munthu amene yoyo olatakhala kuti mukupanga lawyer akhala lawyer wa mtundu wanji. Exposure begins ku school komwe kuja. So zinthu zimene zinzomvetsa chisoni. We are not going anywhere, actually we are going backwards. Thank you.
Let me agree with my fellow panelists. Let me just add, kuti education yathu kunoko pakali pano, if we compare, let's roll back the years, 20 years, it's pathetic. It is pathetic. I will start with simple things like a building of a classroom block. A classroom block year 1982 was much better than yapanopo. Nanena kale kuti yapano yomakhala ati mabowo chonchi munaona yopanda maglasi. Akale makhani mawindo kutsegula kutseka kukazizira kutsegula kupano kutseka. So what are we teaching these kids? Is this a proper building for people? Akaka architect akapanga building ya mtundu wanji ngati akuphunzira muka kanthu kangati kamene ka chicken pen. You go to the schools today, if it makani ma football fields, basketball courts and stuff like that, pita ni ku school panopo mukaone kuti zimakhazotani. There are toilets. It's not desirable anymore to go to that kind of place. Chifukwa chani nanga kuli ma private schools ambirimbiri. Anthu amene ali ndi ndalama kutenga anawo akupita kuti kumene kucha. Mabwana akupitiza anawo kumene kucha. Because they know they have offered education yosakhala bwino to the poor majority. And these are the people that will remain in the country. For amene akupita ma private school apita ku England ena sakabwerera. Amene atakhale kuno kuzakhala ma members of parliament, kuzakhala ma president, ndi amene wawo akupita ma schools adziwika bwino. What future are we building in this country? Nalemba notes command. Yeah, so just to
You may conclude quickly.
In conclusion, Mr. Mahara nagamba za chuma. Ife tachuluka kumapemba pempha zinthu. For 60 years, tumonkhala tikudalira bezo pempha pempha. Because if we had improved our economy, ku school ana ina kwapita ku school kuti akaje, they don't have food at home. Sakupitira school akupita kwaja. Ngani yokuja inenda ka history by now. After all these subsidy programs for the past 20 years, we're still talking about chimanga every year. So if we are that poor, what kind of education are we going to give our kids? There's so much that needs to happen, and maybe starting from our kind of economy and how we allocate the resources that we have. But for the time being, there's too much to do. If we're going to stay at par with other countries, I mean, Kalikali Timapiksa and Zambia, but no, we can't compete. We really cannot. And it's shameful.
Understood. Thank you for your response. It seems we are answering from a place of passion as well, because we know that our youth are the future leaders. So where I want to direct this question is, where did we go wrong with our public school system? This can be answered at random to any of you on the panel. If you wish to raise your hand and then you can answer, I will take 2 answers so that we can time and then go to our next topic. If you'd like, I could repeat the question, because as I mentioned, it's good reflection to kukumbukira kale with the knowledge that you are sharing with us, but we're also looking at the direction. However, where did we go wrong with our public school system?
Maybe let me begin to attempt. Perhaps maybe Council Njovu started us off well earlier on when he had talked about a free education system. I personally am not an advocate of free education system, because I think that the moment that Malawi had taken that direction, this is where we started seeing maybe things not becoming well. I think and I believe kuti nkale tili dziko losauka komabe pakuyenera ndithu kunena kuti tizikhala so responsible as citizens. So for example, many bwana Chalamanda mwanena kuti masiku ano anthu akumakhanga kuti auphunzira pa chicken pen. It's because also talowetsa ndithu mwina kufuna ndalama kwambiri ngati Malawi. Kale lija community you would find kuti mwina anthu atengana akumba njero akuti achite contribute to a proper good school block. Pano pati kufuna kuti mwina zonse tipangiridwe. So pena pake inde ndizofunikira kwambiri kuti parliament yathu izipanga allocate budget yambiri yabwino, because pali my essential services, pali my essential issues amene tisamapange negotiate. Healthcare, education. These are very important basic fundamentals. And if we get our education right by investing with enough resources, we'll be able, obviously, to channel some of the funds to some of the gaps that we are seeing, as well as paying our teachers well. Because every year we have the same problem where teachers are complaining that they're not getting good salaries. And to be honest, all of us, or some of us in front here, we are products of our teachers. So we do need to pay our teachers very well. And I think it has been said earlier. However, I think that communal responsibility again of making sure that a community yatu is school is kugwirizana now, holding our MPs and our councillors accountable is also one way maybe we can really start having a different conversation when it comes to education.
Thank you for your response. Would anyone else on the panel like to attempt to respond to this question? Or may I continue to an interesting topic which could add as well?
I think I'll comment on behalf of Mr. Mahata. I'll say that, I think where we went wrong is leadership. Because if you look at, pre-1994, Kamuzu Banda, he was somebody who had, I think, the issues of education at heart. And he really knew exactly what he wanted, to see in terms of schools and education. So much so that those who went to public schools, they came out really educated. And it started with, those who were in the ministries. I think there were, you used to have school inspectors, you used to have properly trained teachers. When we went into multi-party democracy in 1994, we lost all that. All of a sudden, everybody was eligible to teach. And it didn't really matter what the children are going to learn. If you take, for example, our case, I went to a public school, but I was able to go into a grammar school and compete with those who had gone into a private school. And my English was just good, Today, if you take a kid coming from the public schools, they cannot even do a proper comprehension. Even the so-called private schools, So when I'm saying that where we are now, it's very concerning, our state of education. I think we really need as a nation to hit the panic button and see if we can regard this as the crisis that it is. Because unless the kids are able, are learning the right things and they're able to master, learn properly the things that are there, the future doesn't look good at all. So I think it's a concern for the nation.
Just one tiny one. When I talked about people being responsible, I want to take this opportunity to commend Dr. Namadingo for the school block in Machinga. Well done. And that's the kind of citizenship we want in Malawi.
Thank you for that addition. We do appreciate it. It seems that the topics that I was next going to go with sort of do work together. And on this point, I would like to go towards our economy. With this, we are always going back and forth about Forex issues. And to you leaders here in front of us, what would you do to address the Forex shortages? It's to do with the economy. We are having fun navigating. Let us go into this national dialogue. Who would like to go first? And due to respecting time, let us keep our responses to 1 minute. Yeah. But we can carry on. Let us see as we continue going back and forth.
All right. So minalili muntu ure akudwala mutu anthu tagwirizana kuti priority khalipa nado penikira azimwa mutu chozisiya komano titagwirizanaso kuti tikambe kuona underlying factor unali mutu wamba facha malungo kapena unaifoto wamba chifuwa kani ya forex so chimodzimodzi titagwirizana kuti shortage ya forex tizipanga izizi ma exports makanjani the whole things yanthu amakamba komabe ineyo ndimadandula chinthu chimodzi malungo ankhani ya forex saukambidwa. The fact that by the forex shortage ndi vuto koma si vuto la dzikolo ndi vuto la system inayikidwa ndi Bretton Woods system. so billionaire system inasankha universal currency ngati njira yopangira control maiko ang'ono ndifake simzaona lasha yakusaka forex ayi ma exports amene akuluza anthu kuti pange ma export America ingapose China kukonza katundu ayi koma inuyo mnamba mwasaka kondama ku China masaka madola bakusewe katundu apangidwa ku China. So there are a lot of hidden things that is often kuzitambasula ngati nthawi ikhalepo koma billionaire system inapangitsa kuti ziza forex as a control. To give a quick example, timati exchange rate for concept ya forex timene tizisinthana osati zigulitsana for ndrama sekatundu koma ena ake anasipanga ganizo lofuna libe chuma chawo chikhale ndrama pamenepo ndi chuma chikakhala ndrama zinthu zatu zimachitika. Dziko limene likukhetsa thukuta silimapindula, dziko limene sikupita ku nkhondo silimapindula, dziko limene silikusandutsa zawo thangata iwo kukhala tsamunda silimapindula, ndi dziko limene ndilo Malawi. Koma talakwacha palibe tiwapanga ndrama zathu mbakwacha ndi sovereignty yathu palibe ifa chokasakira dola koma ena akapanga tipange export china chake koma why iwo akupanga export chanu lapeze makwacha sakwafuna makwacha chifukwa chani for this universal currency. So tikamba zamalungo za mutu uzandiyo.
Thank you for that response. From our leaders on the panel, is there anyone that would wish to contribute?
It's a pass from me.
Understood?
Economy.
Yes, sir.
Tikamangamba za economy palibepo dziko padziko lapansi pano lomwe economy.
That's how the discussion is going here at the Bengo International Convention Center. Well, we've heard several issues that have come out from the discussants tonight, issues to do with the presidential powers, issues to do with corruption and, of course, social transformation, or cross-cutting issues that are affecting Malawians. What has come out, however, is that there is need for collective effort to ensure that different players in the country work together to ensure that the future is bright for coming generations. We have enjoyed discussions from philanthropists and, of course, musician Patience Namadingo, renowned lawyer Noro Charamanda, who is also a former mayor for Blantyre City. There was also on the panel Habiba Osman. She is the executive secretary for the Malawi Human Rights Commission. Dennis Mahata, a policy analyst, and of course we have the Malawi Law Society President Davis Njovu, all discussing critical issues that affect Malawians on the daily lives. We have, of course, enjoyed all this being organized by the Vilekeke Nation, led by Nyauyu there, and of course several people that have came out to celebrate, of course, listen to all this. Well, from me, Alex Banda, and the rest of the crew here from BICC, thank you so much for watching. Be there next time. Goodbye for now.